Hi friends, Rock here. Hey, Sherri and me just went on a cross-country adventure. We spent 31 days on the road, going from Pennsylvania to Northern California and back, and many places in between. We videoed a lot of it, and we'd sure like to share it with you. So if you're willing, take a look and come along for a ride. You ready? Let's go. When you think of Kentucky, you often think about horse racing, maybe a little moonshine, some bluegrass music, and other things come to mind. And as we drove through Kentucky, we found it to be a beautiful state. As you can see here as we travel down this narrow country road, it's just beautiful. Farmland on each side, rolling mountains, just beautiful. And but we were on a mission. We wanted to find some dirt, a back road someplace, a place where we could get off the beaten path and see what our old Jeep can do. And so we continued to drive down. As you can see, the leaves have fallen down, and we're getting closer to a little bit of a dirt road. And by golly, we found one. As we came around the corner here, we noticed this old barn sitting up in the brush. And of course, we just had to stop and get a picture of that old girl. She just sits there all lonely and forlorn. But it did make for a great picture as we continued down the road to our even more interesting dirt road that we're about to turn up on here pretty soon. So hang tight, we're close. Here we go. Earlier this year, Kentucky suffered from massive flooding, which, by the way, they're still recovering from. As you can tell by the washed out road we just drove up over, it was pretty bad. And we might share some more about that flooding a little bit later in this video. But as you can see, as we head up this road, there's this interesting rock on the left-hand side, which is pretty cool. Big overhang, and well, of course, we just had to drive under that and get a couple of pictures of that. Pretty cool place. Well, we finally made it to the top of this little trail, and it started to level off a little bit, and we encountered a little bit of mud and some water, and we were looking for some wildlife. We really didn't see much along this way, but a little bit later on we'll find evidence that something had been where we were, and it gave us cause for a little concern. You'll see that in a little bit. We were doing pretty good on our trip until we came to this particular mud hole. When I started into it, I noticed the Jeep starting to drop down pretty quickly, and so I backed out to check this out a little further. And it looked like the center part of this was about 3 feet deep with an additional 1.5 feet of mud underneath. So I thought I'd better back out of there and not attempt it. I also noticed on the other side of this big old puddle a bunch of broken toe straps. And this particular little footprint, looks like a bear print, looks kind of fresh. So we started looking around to see if we could find that little fella, but we never did see him. So we made it out of that trail and back onto the gravel road, and we decided to go a little further and see what else we might discover along the way. And so as we came on down the road, we noticed some change of scenery a little bit, and we also noticed there was a dry creek bed on the right-hand side of the road. We could see it down below, and it looked in places like people may have been driving down there. And so we were looking for an opportunity to go check that out. And that opportunity would present itself pretty quickly here as we continued down the gravel road. We did find a place where we could check it out. And so we turned down into what was and is a riverbed. And so let's go check this out for a little bit. While we were driving down this old riverbed, we met a couple who were back in here cutting firewood. We didn't stop to videotape our conversation, but we had an interesting discussion with them. They had told us that during the flooding several months back that this river was completely covered. As a matter of fact, where we are driving right now, my Jeep would have been underneath about 20 feet of water. The water got as high as those rocks you see on the right-hand side, and it just raced through here, destroyed so much. We also found out that many of the county roads, according to this couple we met, are actually in this riverbed. So if you look on your GPS, it's going to put you driving right down where we are. Very strange that county roads in Kentucky, eastern Kentucky, actually go down the riverbed. Very interesting.